heads up because you're in the Hoodwood. I'm the Black Bandit KJ Green, welcoming you to another edition of Sports from the Hoodwood. Coming up in this edition, the NBA gambling scandal, the massive fallout, and what the repercussions could be. College coaching carousel spins faster and faster. Who just got thrown off? A pretty big surprise of who might be next. World Series is fast turning into a classic. We'll look at the first 4 games and who will win this now best-of-3 series. NFL Week 9, another good week on tap for picks. Fat Dap, Head Slap, the Hoodwood Hot 5 returns, and a word from the Wood about this whole gambling legacy. Will it have deeper repercussions than just the NBA? All that coming at you. Snuffy still has his hat. Go figure. Sports from the Hoodwood coming at you. Put your crash helmets on, buckle your seatbelts. Let's go.
You're tuned in to Sports from the Hoodwood, the internet's foremost location for the most honest, unfiltered commentary and insight on the world of sports. Now, once again, here's Hoodwood's hometown hero, KJ Green.
Greetings from Hoodwood, where we're just still not ready for Halloween. I don't think Snuffy has his costume yet. I'm your man, KJ Green, welcoming you back to the Hoodwood. And we start this week off. We touched on it last week, but it's a serious issue involving the NBA. NBA betting scandal involving, right now, Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups and current NBA player Terry Rozier and former Cavaliers assistant coach Damon Jones. How deep does this run? The details are still being fleshed out, but the FBI had a long, detailed investigation that went back close to 2.5 years. The NBA did some investigating around what they call aberrational behavior involving Rozier while he was playing for the Charlotte Hornets. And there may be inside information that may have been disseminated. And with something like that, it's always the question of legitimacy, transparency. Are the games on the up and up? And with the additional layer of betting, legalized betting, there's so many detailed layers that go through this. And people are really questioning if there are more people that are involved, if star players are involved, or if it's just minor players and the involving of a NBA head coach. That's the most troubling part of it. Now, Billups' part had to do with illicit poker games. Now, everyone knows that basketball players, especially pro basketball players, are big card players. Most professional sports players are. Passes the time, especially during travel. The thing is, one has to wonder how involved is Billups and these card games, and who was involved. And there are allegations of involvement with the mafia, La Cosa Nostra. If mafia is getting involved and there's a lot of money being thrown around, it's just a very, very, very messy situation. And when the feds get involved in it, when the NBA is investigating it, they have, the power to suspend, and they want information after what happened with Jonte Porter in 24, where he was banned from the NBA for life. Now, he was a minor player, but when you have coaches involved, when you have players who are making millions of dollars, it's a serious, serious situation. Rozier, Billups, and Jones were among 34 people that were indicted last week as part of a massive federal investigation involving illegal sports betting and what is may be called rigged poker games. According to what I'm seeing in the filings here, between December of 22 and March of 24, a group of co-conspirators placed bets on at least a half a dozen NBA games involving the Hornets, the Orlando Magic, the LA Lakers, the Toronto Raptors, and the Portland Trailblazers using non-public information, game time information, injury reports, if people are playing or not, and using these to be able to get prop bets. Now, again, it's a detailed and very complex situation, but it goes to the integrity of the game. If you are placing a bet and that bet is rigged or a way to, you know, get circumvent the betting structure to make money, it's going to have very serious repercussions if it's all found out. Now, there are players that they said that Rozier was sharing about inside information with bettors. And there are a number of players who may have been named, not necessarily involved, but information involving big name players. Damian Lillard, Anthony Davis, LeBron James. They may not have been directly involved, but they may have some far reaching taint of this. Not necessarily because they were involved in any kind of betting or involved in the scandal, but their information being used is going to besmirch their names. And it's not something that can be easily cleaned up. Adam Silver has been very upfront about saying he wants to get to the bottom of this. And when, like I said, when you're involving the feds, you're involving the FBI, things are going to get messy real fast. And the feds don't play. I mean, if you like the politics or not of the current administration, but the FBI, if they get involved, it's going to get nasty real fast. And people could not only lose their livelihood, Billups has been suspended without pay. Rozier's his salary has been held in an escrow account. Damon Jones isn't directly involved in the NBA right now, but his chances of getting back in the NBA could diminish greatly. This is a far-reaching scandal. And with the NBA just starting its season just a few days ago, with the whole big move to different media outlets, streaming on Amazon Prime, moving to NBC, expanding its coverage on ABC and ESPN. This could be a very, very big black eye on the NBA and its network partners. They just signed a multi-billion, not million, billion-dollar contract. This could be far-reaching, far-ranging, and very messy. How deep does it run? Snuffy asked the question. It could run a lot deeper than a lot of people really want to admit, and it have far-reaching implications. One of my favorite movies of the late 90s was a movie called U.S. Marshals. It was the sequel to the blockbuster 90s, mid-90s movie, The Fugitives. The U.S. Marshals had Tommy Lee Jones, Wesley Snipes. It's a good movie, one of those potboiler type of movies. Tommy Lee Jones being the great U.S. Marshal Sam Gerard, pursuing another felon who was on the run. And there's a scene late in the movie where he's in this drugstore and he's going through this medicine aisle and he's looking for it. He's like, tetralyzine for motion sickness. Throws the thing away. And the clerk is looking like, what is this dude doing? I think I'm going to need some tetralyzine for motion sickness for this coaching carousel that's going on. Snuffy says he's dizzy. I'm getting weak in the stomach. Another major coaching change. Louisiana State's coach, Brian Kelly. Now, Brian Kelly was once coach of my beloved alma mater, UC, in the late 2000s, abandoned UC to go to Notre Dame, then left Notre Dame 4 years ago to go to LSU, chasing the bag. But after LSU's mediocre season, being 5-3 and a shameful blowout loss to Texas A&M. Kelly was given the gate last Sunday, and now is owed. They're negotiating it though, but could be up to a $54 million buyout. Man, I'm in the wrong business. $54 million, which brings the grand total of coaches being paid not to coach to, drumroll please, $167 million. I mean, you have the minor money like to Jay Norvell, who was fired a few days ago from Colorado State, and Trent Dilfer was fired from UAB, getting $1.9 and $2.4 million respectively. That's not chicken change. But then you have some of these outrageous numbers that Sam Pittman, $9.8 million after he was fired from Arkansas in late September. $15 million for Mike Gundy, who was fired from Oklahoma State in mid-September. $21 million for Billy Napier, who was fired from Florida on the 19th of October. And of course, drumroll again, James Franklin, who Penn State owes $49 million remaining on his contract. This ain't chicken change, folks. You're talking of hundreds of millions of dollars being owed to coaches who aren't coaching anymore. Essentially, dead money. Like I said, I got in the wrong business. I should have paid more attention when Coach Brining was telling me stuff when I was at South Junior High 40 years ago. Maybe I could have been a coach, and get fired from somewhere and make a whole bunch of money. But with Kelly and Franklin, that total could be subject to change if they find new jobs. Billy Napier is going to get his $21 million, and half of that is owed to him within 30 days. Whew. Big old $10.5 million check. Boom. I mean, the tax man's going to love him, but still, again, that's not chicken change. And the search will continue to spin on. Big names being linked to some of these outlets. Urban Meyer, John Gruden, Ed Orgeron may be coming back to LSU. And of course, Lane Kiffin, who's coach of Ole Miss, but everybody's talking about him being linked to LSU or Florida or possibly Oklahoma State, or possibly Penn State. Brian Kelly could be going to Penn State. James Franklin could be going to LSU. Poor Snuffy's back here whining because he's getting dizzy. I am too. This whole thing, these coaches getting these massive buyouts to stop coaching, because with the NIL money being thrown around and the transfer portal being wide open and players jumping from team to team, the pressure on coaches to win now is ratcheted super high. And a coach like Franklin, who was just in the college playoff just last year, a coach like Brian Kelly, who had took LSU deep into the playoffs just recently, these coaches are sitting on, walking a really, really, really high wire, because the pressure to win now is higher than ever. And ADs are like, look, we shelling out this money, you better win now. And the turnaround for these coaches to go to different programs and then turn these programs from also rans into contenders for the college football playoff is, like I said before, super high. And it's not going to change, because there are other coaches that are looking over their shoulder thinking, if Brian Kelly, who was winning at LSU, not to the extent they wanted, if James Franklin, who took his team to the college football playoff last year, if Mike Norvell, who won 13 games at Florida State just a couple of years ago, if these coaches are getting the gate, what's doing 7-5 going to do for you? Is that going to get you on the firing line too? Firing minds want to know. Let's take a time out, come back. Let's look at the World Series. It is turning into a fall classic between the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. Look at that, as well as NFL Week 9. Sports from the Hoodwood comes back at you after this.
You are tuned in to Sports from the Hoodwood, the internet's foremost location for opinion, analysis, and insight on the world of sports. Here now is the man banned from sports trivia contests in 38 states and 4 Canadian provinces, and not to mention Guam. Your host, KJ Green.
You are back in the Hoodwood. My name is KJ Green, and Snuffy says it best. This World Series is looking more and more like a real fall classic. The Dodgers and Blue Jays going head up for the World Series title. Split the first 4 games, game 5 being played as we're taping the show. So he'll provide the show notes who won game 5, and we'll have the edge going into game 6 on Friday night with a chance to clinch a World Series title. The Dodgers winning games 2 and 3, bracketed by the Jays winning games 1 and 4 in fairly route fashion. Game 3 going forever. I'm telling you, if Brad Paisley sings the national anthem at your sporting event, just go ahead and be ready to stay there all night. For the 4th time, the country singer belts out the national anthem and the World Series goes extra innings. Back in 2018, the Dodgers and the Red Sox played an 18-inning marathon. Who sang the national anthem for that? Brad Paisley. Who sung the national anthem for Game 3, which went 18 innings? Brad Paisley. I'm telling you, if either one of those teams in future World Series, if they see, oh, Brad Paisley's going to sing the national anthem, they're like, no, we don't want it. We playing extra innings. That guy just seems to bring out long marathon games. But Freddie Freeman's dramatic Game 3 walk-off home run to end a 6.5-hour marathon game that didn't get over till well after 2 a.m. on the East Coast. Wow. It just blows me away that both of these teams were digging in so hard. And if the Dodgers win the World Series, Clayton Kershaw may have played such a pivotal role by just throwing 8 pitches and getting the Dodgers out of a bases-loaded jam in the 12th inning to keep the game tied. This World Series is, like I said, it's turning out to be a classic. But the funny thing is, as usual, U.S. viewers are fickle as all get out. Viewership for the World Series is down 14% as compared to last year's World Series between the Dodgers and the Yankees. And of course, the U.S. media is going, oh, because we don't have a big, massive U.S., the biggest markets aren't in the World Series. Toronto's the biggest market in Canada. And Canadian and Japanese viewership for this World Series are off the charts. Of course, Canada's going to be watching their team, the only team that's in Canada now. And of course, Japan, with watching Shohei Ohtani play, they are breaking records for viewership. And if you're not watching the World Series, you're missing a classic, because both of these teams, I think, are a lot more evenly matched than many people may have thought. A lot of people were thinking, oh, this is going to be a Dodgers walkover. I didn't think it was going to be a Dodgers walkover. I figured the Dodgers would win the World Series, but that Toronto was going to take the fight to them. Blue Jays are scrappy. Vlad Guerrero is a beast, and he is getting to be a real problem for Dodgers pitching. I mean, Blue Jays pitching is already looking at Shohei Ohtani and going, 4, right? Just Shohei Ohtani was walked in that Game 3 marathon 5 times, the last 4 intentionally. Knowing after hitting 2 home runs that a walk-off could be in your future if you throw Ohtani something anywhere around the plate, and he can hurt you. Now, after the 18-inning marathon, Ohtani had to pitch Game 4 the next night, and I don't think he was on his game. Dodgers lost that game, which evened the series. I think if it goes to a Game 7, I would bank my money on Shohei Ohtani being that pitcher to pitch that on Saturday night, November 1st. And I don't think there is another player in baseball that I think is more dependable for a one-game winner-take-all. I would have Ohtani ready to pitch Game 7, and I would also have Clayton Kershaw ready to pitch out of the bullpen. I would throw everything but the kitchen sink at the Blue Jays if need be, starter after starter, to hold the Blue Jays' potent offense down to try to win a World Series. But that's if it goes to a Game 7. We'll see what happens with Game 6 and see who has the tactical advantage of that. And I still say, U.S. viewers, you are missing out on a great show. Let's take another time out, come back with Week 9 of the NFL picks. I did pretty good last week. Gonna see if we can build on that and continue another winning week. Sports with Hoodwood comes back at you after this.
Is today your last day on Earth because you are being deployed to space tomorrow? Have you just turned 18 and you're ready to get out of your parents' house? Has your granddaughter gotten her boyfriend pregnant? Whatever your reason, you need us at GottaGetMarriedNow.com. We specialize in last-minute weddings. Active duty, military veterans and retired discounts are available. Visit us at GottaGetMarriedNow.com.
Do you love high school football? Want to get in the minds of coaches before their big game? Then tune into the Hurry Up podcast. Presented by Hoodwood Media Group, the Hurry Up checks in with high school coaches weekly to get their thoughts on their next opponent and what it will take to get a victory. Check out the Hurry Up podcast every Thursday on YouTube on the Hoodwood Media Group page, linked in the show notes. Be sure to follow us on social media at HG Media Group. And now, back to the Hoodwood.
You're tuned in to Sports from the Hoodwood, the internet's premier destination for no-nonsense commentary, thorough analysis, and logical insight on the world of sports. Now here's the man that Wikipedia and Google call for sports fact checks, your host, KJ Green.
You are back in the Hoodwood. My name is KJ Green, and let's get into the Week 9 NFL picks. Last week, decent week for the home team, 9-4, and all 4 of those losses, and I'm not trying to make excuses, but they can all be fairly well explained away. The Bengals are unreliable. Aaron Rodgers is unreliable for the Steelers. The upset always seems to go sideways. Thanks a lot for nothing, 49ers. And no one saw the Dolphins beating the Falcons. No, you didn't. Stop the cap, as the kids say.
Stop the cap.
You didn't see that coming. The Dolphins' morebound offense dropping 34 on the Falcons in Atlanta. The curse of Kirk Cousins. Try saying that 3 times fast. Anyway, decent week for the home team. I'm going to try to build on that by providing the NFL Week 9 picks, with the odds being provided by ESPN Bet. For comparison and entertainment purposes only, I don't pay bookies. If you bet the Lions and lose, that's all on you. Don't come crying to me. I don't want to hear it. This week, the 2-6 Browns, who lost to the Patriots 32-13, 1-7 Jets, who defeated the Bengals 39-38, 6-2 Eagles, who defeated the Giants 38-20, and the 6-2 Bucks, who defeated the Saints 23-3, all have the week off. It's a CBS doubleheader week. The nationally televised game is going to be the Chiefs-Bills. So everybody on CBS is going to watch that. All times are Eastern Standard. Remember to turn your clocks back this weekend. And for a comprehensive coverage map for the games in your area, do consult the fine folks at 506sports.com. They have an extensive coverage map of the games in your area. Let's start first with the Thursday game. 2-5 Ravens taking on the 2-6 Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. 8:15 kickoff on Amazon Prime. Ravens are 7.5-point favorites. Last week, the Ravens defeated the Bears 30-16, while the Dolphins defeated the Falcons 34-10. Both teams coming off of pretty solid wins on the road. The Ravens are still waiting for Lamar Jackson to come back. Now, the rumor has it that he may be coming back for this game. Dolphins defense is scaring no one, even though they dominated the Falcons, but I still think that was because of Kirk Cousins, who can't play. Dolphins are an offensively challenged mess. I don't trust them to be able to put the kind of points up for 2 weeks straight. I think that the Ravens start to bounce back solidly behind Lamar Jackson. Even if he doesn't play, I think the Ravens are still the better team. The pick here is Baltimore. Let's turn to the Sunday games. Sunday, November 2nd, games all Eastern Standard Time. Leading off that docket, we have the 4-3 Bears taking on the 3-5 Bengals at Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati. 1 o'clock kickoff on CBS. The Bears are 2.5-point favorites. Last week, the Bears lost to the Ravens 30-16, while the Bengals lost to the Jets 39-38. The Bears offense comes and goes, and you never know which team's going to show up from week to week. Caleb Williams is still struggling to get acclimated to Ben Johnson's offense, but playing against an absolutely atrocious Cincinnati defense, he should be able to find his way. The Bengals offense is top notch. Joe Flacco is filling in nicely, making things look really good, and the Bengals offense can put up the points. Their defense is a joke. Losing multiple double-digit leads against a winless team is inexcusable. How Zach Taylor still has his job is beyond me. I don't trust the Bengals anymore. I don't really trust the Bears to be certain, but I think that the Bears will find life against the weak Cincinnati defense. Of course, this is going to bite me in the butt, but the pick here is Chicago. Next on the docket, we have the 3-4 Vikings taking on the 5-2 Lions at Ford Field in Detroit. 1 o'clock kickoff on Fox. The Lions are 9.5-point favorites. Last week, the Vikings lost to the Chargers 37-10, while the Lions were on their bye. The Lions come into this game rested. Now, the Vikings kind of had a mini bye since they played on Thursday, so they had a longer time off. And J.J. McCarthy will take over the Vikings offense for the injured Carson Wentz. That being said, the Lions are not in a very forgiving mood. They are trying to stay pace with the Packers, and I think they are clearly the better team. Aiden Hutchinson just signed another long-term contract, so that settles that question down on defense. And the learning curve for J.J. McCarthy is going to be very, very steep, and the Lions are not going to show him any quarter. Game being Detroit is not going to be pretty. The pick here is Detroit. Next on the docket, we have the 3-4 Falcons taking on the 6-2 Patriots at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Mass. 1 o'clock kickoff on CBS. The Patriots are 5.5-point favorites. Last week, Falcons lost to the Dolphins 34-10, while the Patriots defeated the Browns 32-13. The Falcons are probably one of the most mystifying teams in the NFL. They slap around the Bills at home and then drop a mystifying game against the Dolphins. Going into New England to face the Patriots, who have been beating the teams they need to beat, is a question of what team is going to show up. I don't trust the Falcons any further than I can throw them. Do I trust the Patriots? Not really. But they have been playing fairly consistent, and Mike Vrabel has his team playing top notch. I feel fairly confident in taking the Patriots. Pick here is New England. Next on the docket, we have the 4-4 Panthers taking on the 5-1-1 Packers at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. 1 o'clock kickoff on Fox. The Packers are 12.5-point favorites. Last week, the Panthers lost to the Bills 40-9, while the Packers defeated the Steelers 35-25. The Panthers looked atrocious, getting run over and over and over by the Bills. And heading to the frozen tundra, well, it may not be frozen in November, but you never know in Wisconsin, the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field to take on the Packers, who are looking more and more confident, especially after beating I don't want to call them decent team, but beating the Steelers on the road is always a tough task, and they did it fairly handily. Jordan Love is rounding into nice form and being able to play against a weak Panthers defense. He should be able to carry the day. Pick here is Green Bay. Next on the docket, we have the 5-3 Chargers taking on the 1-7 Titans at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. 1 o'clock kickoff on CBS. The Chargers are 9.5-point favorites. Last week, the Chargers defeated the Vikings 37-10, while the Titans lost to the Colts 38-14. Chargers slapped around the Vikings pretty much at will. Now they head to Music City to take on a atrocious Titans team who cannot get out of their own way. They went to Indianapolis and absolutely got pummeled by the Colts, as I called. Will it be a repeat in Music City with the Chargers over the Titans? I'm pretty confident that the Chargers will be able to shake off being a West Coast team headed east. I still think they're much better than the Titans. It might not be a blowout win, but I still think that they will win comfortably. The pick here is LA Chargers. Next on the docket, we have the 5-3 49ers taking on the 2-6 Giants at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. 1 o'clock kickoff on CBS. The 49ers are 2.5-point favorites. Last week, the 49ers lost to the Texans 26-15, while the Giants lost to the Eagles 38-20. Now, the 49ers absolutely blew a tire going into Houston, losing a game that I really don't think that they should have lost to the Texans. They head to the Jersey Swamplands to take on the Giants, who are reeling after the horrific injury to Cam Scatterboo, who they will lose for this season. Now, will Tyrone Tracy be able to step into the breach and fill in the running game? I really don't think so. Now I know the 49ers are a mash unit and are playing a patchwork, but I still think Christian McCaffrey will be able to bounce back strong against a weak Giants defense. The pick here is San Francisco. Let's take a timeout, come back with the rest of the early games, the late docket, and the primetime game. Sports from the Hoodwood rolls on after this.
You're tuned in to Sports from the Hoodwood, the internet's foremost location for the most honest insight, thorough analysis, and unfiltered opinion on the world of sports. Now, once again, here's the man of the hour, After Hours, your host, KJ Green.
You're back in the Hoodwood. Let's continue with the Week 9 NFL picks. Next on the docket, we have the 7-1 Colts taking on the 4-3 Steelers at Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh. 1 o'clock kickoff on CBS. The Colts are 3.5-point favorites. Last week, the Colts defeated the Titans 38-14, while the Steelers lost to the Packers 35-25. Is it time to take the Colts seriously, folks? 7-1, but only their win over the Chargers out in LA is against a winning record team. Heading into the Steel City to take on the Steelers, who just looked awful against the Packers. I want to discount Daniel Jones. I still do. Not because he played for the Vikings and didn't do anything, but because I'm waiting for him to turn back into a pumpkin. But having Jonathan Taylor in the backfield helps. And Taylor has been a beast. He's leading in yards and touchdowns, and he's made the Colts offense that much more balanced. So Daniel Jones doesn't have to do everything on its own. I want to not believe in the Colts, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But it would surprise me if they got beat on the road. The pick here is Indianapolis. Next on the docket, we have the 6-2 Broncos taking on the 3-4 Texans at NRG Stadium in Houston. 1 o'clock kickoff on Fox. The Texans are 1.5-point favorites. Last week, the Broncos defeated the Cowboys 44-24, while the Texans defeated the 49ers 26-15. The Broncos are off and winging after a rousing rout of the Cowboys in Denver. They head to Houston to take on the Texans, who surprised the Niners with an absolutely balanced offense and a rugged defense that kept the 49ers frustrated for most of the game and held Christian McCaffrey to under 50 yards rushing. Do I think that Houston can hold the multifaceted, dynamic Broncos offense down like they did the 49ers? I'm not sold on it. While the Texans defense is improving, I still think that the Broncos have way too many weapons. And as it scares me to say, I'm actually starting to believe in Bo Nix. Probably going to bite me in the ass, but oh well. The pick here is Denver. Turn to the late games on the late docket. We have the 4-3 Jaguars taking on the 2-5 Raiders at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. 4:05 kickoff on Fox. Jaguars are 3.5-point favorites. Last week, both teams were on their respective buys. Now you look at the Jaguars, and you don't know which team's going to show up. The team that outdueled the Chiefs, or the team that just absolutely played flat in that loss against the Rams. They head to Sin City to take on the Raiders, who are, as usual, chasing their tail around and going, squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. Other than Ashton Jeanty, I don't trust the Raiders' offense one bit, and their defense is severely lacking. I think the Jags bounce back strong with a win. Pick here is Jacksonville. Next on the docket, we have the 1-7 Saints taking on the 5-2 Rams at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. 4:05 kickoff on Fox. The Rams are 13.5-point favorites. Last week, the Saints lost to the Buccaneers 23-3 while the Rams were on their bye. This game looks like it's going to get ugly real fast. The Saints offense has gone from bad to worse, if that's possible, and the Rams are home and rested after a rousing rout of the Jags in London. Hide your kids, hide your wife. This game could get ugly real fast. I'm very confident about this. That's why I have LA Rams as the Hoodwood lock of the week. Next on the docket, we have the 4-3 Chiefs taking on the 5-2 Bills at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. 4:25 kickoff on CBS. This is a nationally televised game. The Chiefs are 1.5-point favorites. Last week, the Chiefs defeated the Commanders 28-7, while the Bills defeated the Panthers 40-9. Now, last year, the Chiefs scored 30 points one time. This year, they've scored 28 points or more 5 straight times. Their offense, it seems like it's a lot more fluid, and they're playing like they're having fun. But going into the teeth of Bills Mafia in Highmark Stadium is not going to be a fun prospect. Patrick Mahomes is playing well. He's scrambling, throwing on the run a lot more, and improvising a lot more. But the Bills defense, I think, is a lot more disciplined. Far removed from the 40 points that they gave up to Baltimore. They absolutely shut down the Panthers offense last week on the road. I think this is going to be another good game. These two teams have played each other the last 3 years, and they've always been really tight, taut games. I think score is going to be plentiful, but I still think the Bills at home is a good bet. Buffalo is the upset of the week. The Sunday night game is the 5-2 Seahawks taking on the 3-4 Commanders at Northwest Stadium in Landover, Maryland. 8:20 kickoff on NBC. The Seahawks are 3.5-point favorites. Last week, the Seahawks were on their bye, while the Commanders lost to the Chiefs 28-7. I used to depend on the Commanders. I thought they were a reliable pick. But with Jay Daniels still nursing an injury, you can't trust Marcus Mariota to be able to be consistent in his play. Playing a Seahawks team who is rested and having come east after their bye is not a really good prescription. Even though the Commanders are playing at home and play pretty tough at home, I think the Seahawks are the better play. The pick here is Seattle. Next on the docket, the Monday night game is 2-5 Cardinals taking on the 3-4-1 Cowboys at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. 8:15 kickoff on ABC and ESPN. Cowboys are 2.5-point favorites. Last week, the Cardinals were on their bye, while the Cowboys lost to the Broncos 44-24. The Pokes looked bad last week in the Mile High City, giving up points and yards like they were going out of style. Now, playing a Cardinals team whose offense is up and down may be the tonic for them. But I can't trust the Cowboys as far as I can throw them. Dak Prescott has been playing decent, but that defense, they are bad. But I still think the Cardinals offense will not be able to generate enough points to take on the Cowboys. If this game was in Arizona, I smell an upset, but the Pokes at home, I think, is a pretty safe play. The pick here are the Cowboys. And there you have it. Last week, I went 9-4 with the lock correct and the upset incorrect. I am 81-39-1 overall, 7-1 on the locks, 4-4 on the upsets, and we will take our final timeout. Come back with the Hoodwood Hot 5, Fat Dap, Head Slap, and the final word from the Wood. Sports from the Hood heads down the home stretch after this.
Is today your last day on Earth because you are being deployed to space tomorrow? Have you just turned 18 and you're ready to get out of your parents' house? Has your granddaughter gotten her boyfriend pregnant? Whatever your reason, you need us at GottaGetMarriedNow.com. We specialize in last-minute weddings. Active duty, military veterans and retired discounts are available. Visit us at GottaGetMarriedNow.com.
Do you love high school football? Want to get in the minds of coaches before their big game? Then tune into the Hurry Up podcast. Presented by Hoop Good Media Group, the Hurry Up checks in with high school coaches weekly to get their thoughts on their next opponent and what it will take to get a victory. Check out the Hurry Up podcast every Thursday on YouTube on the Hoop Good Media Group page, linked in the show notes. Be sure to follow us on social media at HG Media Group. And now, back to the Hoodwood.
You're tuned into Sports from the Hoodwood, the internet's foremost location for no-nonsense commentary, insight, and opinions on the world of sports. Here now live in living color, black by popular demand. Your host, KJ Green.
Rounding third and headed for home here in the Hoodwood, we'll finish up strong with the Hoodwood Hot 5, Fat Dap and Head Slap, and the final word from the Wood. Hoodwood Hot 5 returns, but no, we're not going to rank college teams, not just yet. We'll wait till the first weekend of November after the CFP standings come out, and we can kind of thresh through that. Top 5 this week, I should say the Hot 5 is going to be the top 5 open jobs right now in college football. With the coaching carousel spinning as fast as it is, there are jobs that are going to be desirable. Some of them not going to be desirable. And some of them, I'm going to throw a couple of them that may very well come open. Our number 5 job that I think will be the hot job that'll come open, I believe, is Florida State. Mike Norvell is not long for that job. I think that given the mediocre season that the Seminoles have had and their pathetic showing in the ACC, Mike Norvell will be out of a job. And that will be a hot job for a coach, Deion Sanders, maybe possibly getting, possibly, just going a little speculation out. Our number 4 top job that is open in college football that I'm thinking of is just down the road from Tallahassee in Gainesville, University of Florida. University of Florida been going through coaches left and right since old ball coach left nearly 20 years ago. And Florida is really, you wouldn't have thought that the University of Florida's basketball team will be more stable than their football team. But that's one of the top 5 jobs that are going to be open here coming up soon. Our number 3 job that I think is very well open is UCLA. Now, Jerry Neuheisel may get that job permanently. The Bruins have gone 3-1 in his interim coaching, even though they got blasted by Indiana. But I think that will be a job that could be a good rebuild and could be solid. Our number 2, the most desirable jobs, is Penn State. That is a football mad location with the washout of James Franklin. A lot of coaches will be speculated, rumored for that job. Many people said Matt Rule. I've heard John Gruden. I've heard Brian Kelly. There's a lot of names, big names, that are going to be hot for that job. And who will get that job? And a very deep talent base, alumni who are willing to spend money, 100,000 seat stadium, and that is going to be a prime job for the coaching carousel, and a lot of speculation of who's going to get that job. Our number 1 most desirable open coaching job right now is Louisiana State. LSU has the resources, they have the fan base, they have a fanatic fan base, and Brian Kelly failed in that endeavor there. Who will take over those reins? I've heard people talk about Ed Orgeron returning to his championship roots. But there are a lot of coaches that will look at LSU as a deep pocket, big money school that they could possibly win a championship, because LSU has won national championships in recent memory, and they have the resources and the talent to be able to go all the way. 5 schools, which 4 of those 5 have openings already, and I'm pretty much speculating one of them will have a job opening by Thanksgiving. That's my high 5. What's yours? Now let's get into the Fat Dap and Head Slap of the Week. Fat Dap of the Week goes to my beloved Detroit Red Wings, who spotted the St. Louis Blues a 4-goal lead, 4-0. I was out and about Saturday, and I kept looking at the score, and I'm just getting more and more depressed. 1-0, 2-0. 3-0, 4-0. A disgruntled crowd of Little Caesars Arena about booed them off the ice, but the Red Wings steadied themselves, got a goal, got another one, and suddenly the momentum was rolling and the Blues were panicking. Goal to tie it up, and then a 5th goal to take the lead, and empty netters close out the scoring. The Red Wings scored 6 goals in a row. 6 unanswered goals to win 6-4. Now, say what you want about the Red Wings over the last decade. They have not been very good, not very watchable. But this season, they look like they may be all putting it all together. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I know it's only October. It's still early. But I think the Red Wings may be able to break that 10-year drought of playoff appearances. They went 25 years straight making the playoffs. Playoffs was a foregone conclusion in Hockey Town. But now, after 10 years of no playoffs, it's been a long time coming. I hope this is a good start. Our head slap of the week, and I know it's low-hanging fruit, but I can't help it. Zach Taylor of the Cincinnati Bengals. How is it possible that the Bengals had 14-point leads 3 different times and couldn't close the deal? Scored 38 points and couldn't get the dub. The second highest losing total in the NFL this season. The Ravens scored 40 against the Bills and lost. But against the Ravens at least had the excuse. They were playing the Bills in Buffalo. You're playing the winless Jets at home in front of 65,000 adoring fans. They were honoring Lamar Parrish and Dave Lapham in the Ring of Honor. How could you shame yourself in front of those Bengal legends? Zach Taylor should not have a job. I have gone long on record as saying he's the stupidest coach in the NFL, if not football itself. The Brown and Blackburn family need to make a change, and that right soon, because you are wasting the talents of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. And we're not even going to talk about how bad that defense is, but I think Zach Taylor needs to go, and soon. You may be able to rescue this season, possibly. But the longer you leave Zach Taylor in, the more entrenched he becomes, the more he gets set in his ways, the worse off the Bengals are going to be. Head slap to Zach Taylor, and football's stupidest coach. And now, without much further ado, let's go to the final word from the Wood. Two of my close friends love to bet. They love parlays. They love prop bets. They love every kind of bet you could place down on a football game or sports in general. Sports betting has always been a part of sports. I myself provide the lines of football games during the football season, but I strongly caution that they are for entertainment and comparison purposes only. I have no desire to get in bad with bookies. I once made book myself when I was in college. It was not a nice proposition. That was 35 years ago. Betting on the games legally and safely is a fun pastime. And people I've seen make good money on betting on games. But one has to wonder, is this a dance with the devil? The NBA has been rocked by a betting scandal that has mafia implications. Now, there was a book that came out about 30 years ago. It's a favorite of mine. It's called Titans. It was written by Tim Green, who was a football player who has since passed. A great work of fiction about a quarterback who was caught up by a would-be mafioso to throw football games. And he made it seem like that being the star quarterback, that he could have the power to influence games. And it was a very intricate tale and a good book. Now, of course, the name Titans is, of course, gone from, I would say, lexicon of a fictional team, because there's a team in Tennessee now named the Titans. And the Titans were once the name of the New York Jets, who they were kind of loosely basing it off of. But the point I'm trying to make here is that there are possibilities of betting and influencing games, and you're waiting for another scandal. Maybe not in the NFL, the NBA. We've already talked about Jonte Porter being a player who was banned for life for betting on basketball games, being implicated in betting scandal. Chauncey Billups is on leave from the Portland Trailblazers. Terry Rozier, a fringe player, is on leave from the Miami Heat. Could we see the tendrils of this far-reaching scandal reach other named players? It's a distinct possibility. But the point I want to make is this. Betting on sports and the actual sports entities themselves have done this kind of dance with the devil that has been legitimized because baseball, football, basketball, and to a little certain extent hockey, the big four sports, have decided to get into bed with companies like FanDuel, DraftKings, ESPN Bet. ESPN Bet has basically moved strongly into the betting realm. But one has to wonder, how much of an impact is this going to make on the games themselves? How long is it going to be before we see the kind of reach of a mafioso on players? And how long is it going to be before the integrity of these games are questioned? There are so many people now that think that there are scripts for football games, for basketball games, that the teams that are winning are preordained. If the integrity of sports are going to be besmirched by betting, it's not something I want to be a part of. And it's not something that anything needs to be watched. The viewership of all sports are based on the principle of the games are fair and it's two teams on a level playing field playing it out and the chips fall where they may. If there's even a hint of impropriety, of integrity doesn't be questioned, of people thinking the game is fixed, the realm that we call sports, the realm that I love so much, will be no more. And it'll be no better than watching the heel and the golden boy fight it out in wrestling. And that's not something I want to be part of. And that is the final word from the Wood. Now, with the music coming up in the background, you know that means that your time here in the Hoodwood is just about done, and I thank you so much for your visit. The show's email is kjgreen@sportsfromthehoodwood.com. Please send me emails regarding show topics, both past and future, questions, comments on the show, and both praise and criticism. I welcome your correspondence, and we'll try to get back to you in a timely manner. Now, the show's website is sportsfromthehoodwood.com, which has a back catalog of the show dating back 13 years in both audio and video forms. So check that out if there are any shows that you may have missed. You can join the debate and conversation on the Sports from the Hoodwood page on Facebook, which has a video podcast as well as other topics, funny stuff that I find on the web, plenty of great sports debate, and lots more. I post often there and respond to member posts frequently. Member posts are plentiful and frequent. Now, the video versions are also on YouTube, so please hit that subscribe and smash those like buttons for more great content. Now, link to the podcast is also on the show's Blue Sky feed at hoodwoodsports.bsky.social. Those are interesting stuff to find there. Your correspondence with the show is encouraged, and we do respond back, so like and follow there as well. Now, the audio version is on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Samsung Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and a host of other fine podcast platforms and providers. If the Hoodwood is not on your favorite, hey, ask for it. Drop me a line and I'll do what I can to get it there. And we've expanded our podcast availability thanks to you. As always, special thanks to Rage Pictures for providing both production assistance to both the show and website. So that's it from the Hoodwood, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Until next time, fellow sports fans, I'm Merely Bev's son, KJ Green, 30.
Sports from the Hoodwood
Is a Black Bandit Productions and Enterprises presentation.
of a 551 Audio and Films production.